Welcome back to Open Line. We're talking with Dr. Ken Chilton, Associate Professor of the Department of Public Administration at TSU, talking about Wall Street firms that have moved into Nashville and Middle Tennessee, buying up single-family homes, turning them into rental property. What does that mean for affordable housing? And we have several calls. So let's go to James. Hello, James. James, are you there?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Yes, thank you. I was wondering why Nashville is not implementing tax relief for people that are senior citizens. Now, I went down to the trustee's office today, and they do have some kind of tax relief program.
They do.
And a tax freeze program,
right,
if you meet the eligibility requirements. But a lot of states have that homestead exemption act that they have, and I was wondering why Nashville doesn't recognize the homestead exemption. I thought at one time that it was a federal mandate that all states would get that homestead exemption, but that's not true here in Nashville or in Tennessee.
All right.
Can you?
I'll let you talk about that now, if you're able. But certainly there are some things that are out there, and you should take full advantage of them, or you have your loved one take full advantage of them. There are freezes available for people over a certain age. Call the property assessor, get all the information you can on that. But what about this homestead? Do you know?
No, but I do know that on the others, your estate or the estate will eventually settle, and those taxes will be paid, so that they'll recoup that money. But no, I'm not familiar with the homestead exemption in terms of Tennessee. But one of the things that makes me think of, though, is the lack in these markets, especially in the South, that are growing, a lack of really strong tenant rights organizations who can fight on behalf of tenants who have been mistreated. California has very strong tenant rights organizations and such, and these investors are out there too. But it makes me wonder how that might help people who were on your report about who are suffering with some of those questions about maintenance and getting their money back and that type of thing.
Let's go to Marilyn. Hello, Marilyn.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Okay, I've been here since the middle 80s, and when I first moved in here in Tennessee, there was a program that started called the Zero Lot Line. And they were building homes almost like a duplex side by side, and they were financed separately. And the laws, they outlawed that. But now I see these little narrow, skinny homes so close together, you might as well call them zero lot lines, because you can reach out one window and touch the next unit. So I'm wondering, and I blame the city council, because they have a right and authority to stop all of this. People moving here, they came here, I came here because of the wide open spaces and everything. Now, with all of these little bitty narrow, skinny homes, what do they think is going to happen to all these little units when they're 15 and 20 years old? The people that live in them are younger people now. They're going to have children, and they want to expand out. So all these little places are going to be left.
All right.
So I don't understand why government will not have stronger regulation against all of this. I hate it.
All right, thank you. You're not the only one that hates those things. They are everywhere.
Yeah.
And they sell for a lot of money, and I'm sure that's why they keep getting built. But
they're in areas with a lot of amenities that especially empty nesters and younger households want to take advantage of. And developers are smart. Given the cost of land, to get the maximum amount of product on that land is what they're shooting to do. And but that's kind of a not related to the REITs issue.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, what is related is affordable housing.
Yeah.
And you've looked at affordable housing. It's kind of what brought you to this. What are you seeing in Nashville? What are we not doing, in your opinion? What do we need to be doing? What are you seeing in Nashville?
Metro Human Relations has put out a couple of good pamphlets that deal with affordable housing, the definitions of it, and what's been happening in Nashville. And given the influx of new people, new businesses, the attractiveness of Nashville as a destination for people, it's really created tensions in terms of providing enough affordable units. Land prices have gone up considerably, which increases the price of any new housing. And developers are kind of like car companies. They make a bigger profit off of a large SUV than they do off a very small automobile. And that's the market they're catering to, especially in an era now where median household income of $55,000, 50% of the people earn less than that, or households have less than that. There aren't housing units available for purchase in this region that are affordable. So it creates a lot of problems. And in as much as REITs, Airbnbs, this has also happened in the apartment industry, where out-of-town investors have come in and bought out local owners. They come in and rehab them, jack the rents up to $400 or $500 and get a whole new set of clientele. We've lost tens of thousands of housing units while not having a replacement. We haven't even kept up with the ones we've lost, most likely. And then on the other side of that is we've had a lot of people who've moved here, so populations outstrip that.
What can the city do? So we've talked about that on this show, but
Yeah.
I mean, what are the options? It's supply and demand, and it's the free market system. And if you own a piece of property, you want to get as much as you possibly can for it. And what can the city do?
Lots of limitations, especially in our political culture in the South, in terms of property rights and interfering in the property rights market. So not a lot to do. And historically, if you look at who really provided, and I'm not talking just workforce housing, but especially low-income housing, it took a large federal intervention in terms of public housing, Section 8, that the federal government no longer provides. And that has been foisted, kind of redistribution has been foisted upon state governments that don't have the resources and local governments that don't have the resources. So we try, and there's a lot of great groups who are trying, who are working on this. We've got the Barnes Housing Trust, and there's millions of dollars in that. But again, that doesn't produce tens of thousands of units. So cities, no one has a way out of this yet that I'm aware of.
Let's go to Jim. Hello, Jim. Are you there, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Professor,
Yeah.
I have been investing a lot of money in retirement and everything, but I want to buy a land with there's no building on it. Is it the best time to buy 100 acres or 120 acres?
So he wants financial advice from you.
Well, I won't give him any financial advice. That's not my area of expertise, if I even have one.
It's a good time to buy land in Davidson County, but I'm not going to give you financial advice either. Obviously, these Wall Street firms, they know something. I mean, they're coming in and they're buying all this stuff up.
Yeah.
They're not dumb.
No.
They know what they're doing.
And they've spent a lot of money on analytics to figure out the best markets and the prime areas, and they're doing their homework.
What do you see? You saw that homeowners association, and they said, okay, you have to live there 2 years before you can rent out. That seems like a good option.
Yeah.
And do you think we're going to see more and more of stuff like that?
I do. I think HOAs have got to. That's the only protection that homeowners in those neighborhoods have. You got two protections. You can either move, and then you'll be bought out by, and then sell your neighbors down the river if you think it's a bad trend. Some people don't think it's a bad trend. Or you stand up and fight, and that requires some effort. Some HOAs are stronger than others. Unfortunately, in a lot of communities like the map that you produced, there's a critical mass of Wall Street homes now in those neighborhoods, which makes it really difficult.
It's kind of astounding. That map really put it in perspective about what is happening.
Yeah.
And there are certain areas where it's a lot of houses on one street.
And you're starting to see it in, well, it's already happened in Spring Hill, and you're also starting to see it in Wilson County. It's not just at Davidson and Rutherford. This is widespread throughout the region, and even in up near, I'm forgetting, Robinson County, I'm starting to see activity which wasn't there 2 years ago, of buying up homes.
And you, again, don't see that change. And are there more? We highlighted just 4 in this story. And you're saying there are more than that.
Yes.
So there are going to be more groups getting into this, which will mean more homes being bought.
Yes.
Is that right?
Absolutely. And yeah, this is a separate niche. Some of the people have talked or referenced kind of the flipping side of things, like the real estate development.
Right.
But that's a whole different market. The flippers they're usually dealing with small portfolios, 2 or 3. Some of them are making money on doing that, and that's I suppose good. At least they're local actors. One of the things that concerns me is with absentee landlords, you can do the math. There's 5,000 properties, let's say an average rent of $1,800 a month. That's $12 million a year or a month, or $115 million bucks roughly per year that's going to out-of-state landlords. It's not being captured locally. So there's a lot of leakage there in terms of the multiplier effect and the impact on the local economy of that much money flying out. People aren't talking about that, and I think that's important. The other side is on the community side. What does this do for community identity? Historically, the American dream, we grow up in the neighborhood, we have our childhood friends, we go to the childhood school. Rental properties tend to be more itinerant. You've got people coming and going, which breaks up that sense of community as well. And those are critical issues that haven't been looked at in as much depth.
Let's go to Anthony. Hello, Anthony. What's on your mind?
Hello. Hello?
Hello.
Hi.
What's on your mind? Go right ahead.
Okay, what I wanted to ask him about is what does he think about habitat for humanity, and also how people are being discriminated against, moved outside the city limits, left their churches and left their homes, been forced out, and I think one of the biggest mistakes Nashville made with the mayor, Dean, not go ahead and letting people move in the Maytown area where it could have expanded more and moved on out where people could spread out more and not such be subdivision in such local places. And I appreciate your answer if you could. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Habitat for Humanity, but again, it's given budgetary realities, it's not going to be creating enough of a supply that's going to fix this problem. But every little bit helps, and I'm supportive of that. He referenced the displacement that's occurred, probably more as a result of the gentrification and the gentrification process that has forced a lot of people out of their traditional neighborhoods and it's created a lot of issues. Think in terms of nonprofits. If you've historically been in a low-income neighborhood and you had all of your clients who access your services serviced by a bus line, now you've got clients who are in Antioch, you've got clients who are in Madison, you've got clients scattered throughout the city. It's really hard, and their rents go up too. So where do they relocate? And it's created, again, kind of a ripple effect. And it's related, the double whammy when I was looking at the data, is that as people have been displaced to southern parts of the county and Antioch and such, at the same time, you've got the influx of people who have been displaced and they're being forced into or going to communities where these REITs are very, very active.
Right.
And I haven't looked at that in much depth, but I have looked at the data, and you do see very discernible trends about who's moving where and changes in not just demography, but income and household income, education levels. And then you see these companies are buying up homes, again, creating permanent rentership situations or long-term rentership situations for people who really need to be able to accumulate equity.
Right. All right, we're going to take a break, and I want to talk to you when we come back about, you've been studying this for a long time.
Yeah.
Kind of what do you want to jump into and really focus on kind of next as far as this goes? What are some of the things you'll be focusing on? We'll take a break. Be back right after this.